Welcome back, everybody. I am Marilee Burnett, your tarot reader and astrologer, with the weekly forecast that we're going to focus in on the full moon lunar eclipse that happens on Friday, May 5th at about 10:34 a.m. So it's not a full moon that we will necessarily see from the West Coast, but still important and very impactful. Pulled a card for each sign, and so we will get to that after a brief overview about the importance of the lunar eclipse. But before we get there, I'd like to ask you to please remember to subscribe. Give me a little thumbs up down below, and thank you for liking, commenting, giving me feedback, letting me know if there's anything else that you would like to see when it comes to my weekly forecasts and horoscopes. So on the screen in front of you, you see a snapshot of the full moon, and you can see that we have the full moon in Scorpio. It's a lunar eclipse because of the closeness that it occurs to the nodes, that faded point in our chart. And a full moon already is about big endings, culminations. When the full moon also occurs near the south node, this is an opportunity for these endings to be faded, for there to be something major to be released from our lives. The moon rules over our emotions. This can be a very big emotional ending. And I would say that these endings are something that will take a little bit of time to unfold for us, because the energy that we have coming up through the next 2 weeks until the new moon is pretty volatile, to put it mildly. So there's a big energy, and this is just the opening of the door to those endings, and then that's when the real work begins. Now, not all endings have to be bad. Remember, these are faded endings and closure and goals that are achieved, but they will be emotional in nature, especially because anytime you have a full moon, that of course means the sun is across the sky, giving you a perspective that is opposite of where the moon and your emotions are now. Those things in Taurus are all the physical things that we're aware of. This is an earth sign. This is about finances. This is about the five senses. There are things that we experience in our physical realm. In Scorpio, these are things that are hidden beneath the surface. It can have a little bit of a dark tendency to it. And the moon is at fall here. The moon does not like the dark energy. It has to work harder here to feel things and not be worried or afraid about them. Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, and that is a planet that is known for death and transformation. There can be something associated with death, things that have to die physically, metaphysically, emotionally, in order to be reborn stronger. So this is not a gentle energy, but it is for the good, right? Taurus is all those good, juicy things that taste good and feel good to us. We just have to see a different perspective in order to experience that. And Uranus sitting there next to the sun can make that a bit of a surprising event. But when you realize you can walk away from whatever this is and feel good about it, it actually is a good thing. And you'll wonder why you held on for so long to something that did not give you anything back. We have also, at the time of this new moon, this full moon, this really beautiful blessing that's occurring with this sextile between Jupiter and Venus. So again, even though endings aren't always easy, as we let this go, we will experience this really beautiful blessing. While Venus is also in a square to Neptune, this again is helping us remove those rose-colored glasses from situations that no longer serve us. And then if you've been following me, you know that Saturn is here supporting the nodes. This is giving structure to our destiny, right? And always when you work with the nodes, you're moving on from what you already know, what you've already experienced in the past, which is the South Node, because we can't grow if we just stay stuck in the South Node in our comfort zone in what we know. We have to lean into the North Node. And for the past 18, 19 months is the time that the nodes transit through each of the signs. We've been learning about what the things are in our life that we truly value. Taurus rules the second house. The second house is the money we make, and it is the values that we have. It's what do we love, and we've been understanding those values. And we have to let go of anything not aligned with our values as part of this process. Saturn gives you the structure, shows you the work that you need to do, and it's here supporting the nodes at the end of this transit, which will end in the middle of July, to help you to help you get across the finish line. You want to take a look at my horoscope for the month of May to get even more details, especially about the new moon energy that will be coming up in the sign of Gemini, and this huge square and T-square that's occurring between Jupiter, who will be at 0 degrees of Taurus, and Pluto. So there's lots to uncover there, but just so you know, this is a really good time to be paying attention to what's showing up. You may only get a clue as to what has to end for you, what's going to be coming to fullness at this time, and you may see it in totality once we actually get to that new moon in Gemini. So on my website, with the links down below, is access to all these articles. Everything's already out there for you to preview for May, including the full moon lunar eclipse and the new moon in Gemini, and this really intense opportunity for us to make huge life changes as we go through this really tense T-square that's actually going to be with Jupiter, Mars, and Pluto. If you think we're coming out of May without making big changes, you would be mistaken. So, all right, so let's get into the tarot cards. So there is, of course, a tarot card pulled for every sign. I'm giving you a little insight into the house that this may be occurring for you as well. Of course, I've used just whole house sign charts when I do these so that I have a good generalized reading, but you'll want to get your own chart done and find out, because this is so important. When we have eclipse work to do, you really need to make sure you understand which house has Scorpio energy in it in your chart and which one that Scorpio energy is sitting at 14 degrees in particular. I actually have a free chart under the tools tab on my website that you can use once you have your chart created on any of the websites out there, like astro.com. You can create a free chart and fill it out. It'll show you where all these important transits happen. It's just a great tool to follow. Of course, I'm here to help you if you want to schedule a reading with me as well. On this one, be sure you listen to the card for your sun, your moon, and your rising sign. They all will have an interesting and unique perspective for you. And again, as long as you have your chart, you'll know where each of those occurs and what house they occur in for you. All right, so with that, we are going to go ahead and get started. And I will draw a card for each one of these, and do let me know. I love the feedback from you guys that are reading these and having real life experiences, and that really keeps me encouraged knowing that you guys enjoy the work that I'm doing. So remember to like, to comment, to subscribe to help me grow my channel. You are who I do this for, and I appreciate you, each and every one of you. All right, let's get started.
So we are going to start with those that will be having this in their first house, which is, of course, Scorpio. And Scorpios, you have the Seven of Water. So you have some decisions to make. And the thing about having so many options is it can tend to paralyze you a bit. And the important thing is when you have all of these shiny objects in front of you, you need to spend more time focusing on what's actually happening beneath the surface and what is going on, inside of these cups, right? So they might all look fancy and have cool symbols on the outside, but it's what's inside that really matters and what's guiding you. And see, this looks like 444 here. So this is having your guardian angels watching over the decision making. So choose wisely. Choose what it is that you're going to let go of, what you're going to release, and be ready for this big 1.5 years of transformation to come to a close. And something specific with this eclipse, you want to set your intentions to release at this time so that you are who you are meant to be and come out like the phoenix rising at the end of this full moon lunar eclipse. All right, now let's take a look for Libra. Libra, this happens in your second house. And the second house is about the money you make. So just like Scorpio, you too have the 7. And as a reminder, that 7 energy is very much an internal energy. And there is something as far as the money you make that you need to be cautious and aware of during this eclipse. It could be that there are people that you work with that don't have your best interests at heart, and finding that out may cause you to want to let this job go and explore something that is more suited to you and more intended for your life purpose, right? The nodes are always about our fate and our destiny. Now, reminder, the sun is shining a light from the 8th house of the money that your partner makes. Now, there could be some surprise that occurs in your partner's income, maybe in a good way, and that gives you the opportunity to walk away from this job that you are not enjoying and go find one that you will. Virgos, this happens in your 3rd house. And you have the first of our major arcana cards, which is the World card. Something major is coming to an end for you in the area that rules your siblings. It's any extended family. It could also be something to do with something you've been studying. It can be education, communication, transportation, all those Mercury type of topics. But when we see the World card in particular, this fated ending is even bigger than normal, because the World card is the last card that the Fool goes through its tour of all the people that it's meeting and the lessons that they're learning. And this is the final culmination of that journey. So this is really important. Whatever is coming at this time is something that you've been working on, and you're going to be happy and thankful that this ending is upon you. All right. Let's take a look for our Leos, who will have this happening in their 4th house. So the ego card is traditionally the devil card. And ego is a good name actually for the devil card because it is our ego attachments to things that hold us back. Since this is in the sign of Scorpio, where you might sometimes think about Pluto, the ruler of the underworld, which has a little bit of a devilish tint to it. This is important for you to let things go involving your family. So there could be issues that you have with a mother or a mother figure or just with where you live, right? And you don't have to stay attached to people who are toxic. For example, you can let those people go even if they're family because it's not psychologically healthy for you to remain there. Now, you could also just be in a living situation that isn't healthy for you. And this is suggesting, again, you let those attachments go, follow spirit and your guides, and find something that's happier for you. Now, this is the 6 energy. So that 6 is about pursuing joy and happiness and transforming wherever you are in your life now into a place that is better for you. So this is big work to do. Of course, every time we have major arcana cards, it is even bigger work of things that we need to let go of. But you could end up living in a much happier and healthier home as a result of what is eclipsed out for you at this time. Cancer. This is happening for you. Oh, this is really the Cancer card. It's the Queen of Water or the Queen of Cups, which is a person who is very intuitive. You could be looking to eclipse out things that are blocking your joy when you have an eclipse in your 5th house. This person who comes into your life is here to help you let go of those things that are difficult for you. Now, you may be having a child move out. Queen of Water is a loving, caring, nurturing mom, and the 5th house rules our children. Lots of children are getting ready to graduate. There's conversations about what colleges they're going to. So this could have something to do with you needing to let your child go just so that they can experience what life has for them. But whatever it is, whatever you're releasing, blocks to your passions, blocks to pursuing your hobbies, seeing a hobby, turn into something more as a result of stopping and no longer holding yourself back. All of the court cards, as a reminder, are the energy of the 1. So this ending is creating a fated new beginning for you as well. Let's take a look for Gemini. Another Queen card. This one is the Queen of Earth, also known as the Queen of Pentacles, and of course, a 1 card. So there could be a very influential woman who is going to help you close a chapter on the current work you do. This could be, besides being a woman, just somebody with very caring energy that is supporting you with the money you make and the job you do because of the fact that this is Pentacles energy. Since this is in your 6th house, that makes complete sense because this does rule over the work you do on a day-to-day basis. So as a result of some feminine energy where you work, there is a chapter of the work you do coming to a close in order for something new and better to come in for you at this time as well. Now for you, that sun is shining the light from the 12th house, sitting there next to Uranus. So there's maybe a big shakeup within the large organization that you currently work for that has a direct impact on what you're doing day to day, and that's why you're about to see this big change in the work that you do. Remember, full moons are all about culmination and endings. And so, Taurus, you have the lovely Two of Water, which is the Two of Cups as well. And this is a time of welcoming in a soulmate relationship because you're finally letting go of any of the blocks that you have to letting love into your life. When we have an eclipse, full moon, right, lunar eclipse in our 7th house, which is the house that rules our serious relationships, business or personal, one of them may come to an end, but when it does, it allows you to align yourself with somebody better meant for you, who has your best interest in heart as well. So the 2 is about balance. There is a better partner for you potentially, or that is time to restore the balance in the current relationship that you have and to remove any of those blocks or impediments that are keeping you from having that wonderful giving and taking balance that you should have in a healthy relationship. All right, Aries. A little fire energy to go with our Aries group there. That Page of Fire is it's a new beginning. It's a page, so it's the Court, and it's a 1 card. We're having a lot of 1s, so it's just again saying how the ending that you're about to experience is needed and necessary in order for this new beginning to come in. Now, the Page of Fire, Page of Wands, can be just something new that you're passionate about. It can be another person, it can be a job, it can be a hobby, anything that basically lights your fire. Now, this shows up for you in your 8th house, which does rule your intimate relationships. This is the money that your partner makes if you're in a relationship. It's also the house, of death and transformation. This is the Scorpio energy. So there is something highly motivating you to begin this complete transformation process with the help of this full moon lunar eclipse energy. So again, the ending could be a bit dramatic. However, in the end, this is really, really important for you to go through this and to finish the work. All right, Pisces. You have the Balance card, which is always good for our wonderful, sentimental, giving and caring Pisces out there. The Balance card reminds you that you cannot always give. You have to allow yourself to also receive. And emotionally, this is speaking to you needing, again, good, healthy boundaries where your feelings are honored and respected. Now, this is showing up in your 9th house for you. The 9th house rules faraway places, foreign travel, it's growth and expansion. And, emotionally, if you're going through something, this is your time to see the possibilities for healing. And when you balance your emotions and that you're not always focused on what is sometimes considered being in victim mode, and instead see your opportunities for taking responsibility for your healing and for your feelings, that's how balance gets restored in your life again. And from that place where you feel centered and more in control of your emotions and your feelings, that's when some real growth can occur. So this eclipse is going to remove any blocks to you having balance and to you having the opportunity to experience some really healthy emotional, maybe even spiritual growth at this time. All right, Aquarius. The Three of Earth, also known as the Three of Pentacles, shows up when we have others that we are going to be doing some work with. So there's collaboration with a mentor, collaboration within a team. Pentacles are earth and making money. So if you're employed, this could be about your teammates at work. If you're retired, this could be somebody that you're just working on a project with, and outside of work, right? If you have any kind of hobbies or volunteer services, for example. It's a really good time to work together and produce something that you're going to be really proud of. You have to let go of feeling like you have to do it all on your own, right? You can't open up and allow collaboration to happen unless you're willing to let others actually come in and help you. Now, this 3 energy is a very creative energy, and it's showing up for you in your 10th house, which is, of course, your career. It's your fame. It's what you're most recognized for, are all the achievements that we have in our 10th house. Now, the sun is shining a light from your 4th house of home and family, so there could be a surprise move that impacts you in the career path that you're currently on. But just as a reminder, that means that there's new doors opening for you, and you should not be worried or stressed if some sudden change happens for you. It could also just be a change in career, right? Or a change in the type of work you do, but not a complete breakaway from it. That whatever it is that's changing or completing involving your career, remember, it's always a fated change. And also believing, right? If there's a glass ceiling that you've just had such a terrible time trying to break through, now's the time when you can break through that and have your talents recognized and rewarded. All right, Capricorns. The Knight of Earth or Knight of Pentacles. Whenever I get this card, I am about to be really busy. You know, knights are out there championing and fighting the battles and protecting the kingdom, right? They're the people out there on the front line. So this for you is potentially, again, some kind of new opportunity involving the work you do, because we have, again, that earthy pentacle type of energy. But this work is slow and steady work. So what you've been working on in your 11th house is it's friend groups, it's networking, it could be volunteer opportunities, and it's those things that you need to do outside of just the day-to-day work. In fact, maybe you've been working too hard and you're not making any time for your friends. So that sun for you in your 5th house, Uranus in there too. The 5th house rules your children. Your child may be suddenly moving out, experiencing life for themselves, and that opens up this whole new world, and you have to decide, what are you going to do now that there's this hole appearing in your life? And the friend groups, you know, they can help you do that. And if you've been doing the work, if you have too many friendships that are just toxic in nature, you're going to see situations where you're being taken advantage of come to an end in order for you to find something, you know, more enjoyable and more fulfilling for you. All right, Sagittarius. Well, you Sagittariuses out there get to be a boss. what I love about the Emperor card is this can be, for instance, if you have a boss that is a bit over the top and overbearing, we're talking about what things might be ending and coming to a close here. You know, this is somebody who could be moving on. And when they move on, maybe you're the one who's getting elevated to this level where you suddenly become the leader and you have those around you that are doing the work versus you being the one that's just constantly work, 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 making other people look good and not receiving all the recognition that you deserve. This is a 4 energy. 4 energy is about building new foundations and structures for your future. And sometimes we have to tear down the old ones in order for a new beginning to happen. Now, this is your 12th house. The 12th house rules large institutions. So again, if you work for a large corporation, you could suddenly see a reorg happen and then you have new and different responsibilities. That's definitely a possibility. Then the other work that you can do with the 12th house is, work with subconscious blocks. These are things that, again, are hidden and not seen. We know we're there. They hold us back and we need to let them go. The sun's shining a light from your 6th house. This is a house that rules over your health too. There could be an opportunity that's presented to you out of the blue that helps you focus in more on your physical and your mental health. And all of this works together, right, for you to have some breakthrough here in this area of your life. So, very exciting things. I like the tone of all of the cards that we had presented here today. So do keep me posted on what your fated eclipse events are about. And at full moons, remember, we set our intentions for what it is that we want to release. And of course, we had the new moon solar eclipse that occurred in April. And that is still affecting us, right? The light of the moon, it was empty and now it's filling up again, right? So those new moon intentions that you set, those wishes that you had to remove things so that your new beginning could happen, well, this is that fulfillment period. And the eclipse of the moon should be the last step. This should be the last block that is removed so that your new moon intentions can come to be. Very exciting things. Make sure you check out my articles on the eclipses. I would still go back and review the solar eclipse one if you haven't seen that yet. And take a look ahead, especially at what's coming in May. There is quite a bit of turmoil and tension in the middle of May that is really going to get everybody's attention. So it would be helpful if you get out there and have a read through that article to be better prepared. I will, of course, put the links down here below. And if you would be so kind to give me a thumbs up, like and comment. It's the only way these videos make any progress in the YouTube algorithm is if there is attention to the video, and I want to be able to reach as many people as I can. So I appreciate your support. Please leave me your comments about what you've been experiencing, and I always love to hear your ideas about what you'd like to see in these weekly videos going forward. I hope you have an amazing week, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you.